Hello, in this video we will discuss about the muscle cramp. So what is this? Basically it is the painful contraction of muscle or group of muscle related by contraction of antagonistic muscle. Like the location of the muscle cramp is different, like shoulder, arm, legs. So it can cause pain. So the painful contraction of muscle or group of muscle related by contraction of antagonistic muscles. Let's we will understand about the example. For example, the dystonia, spasticity, seizures, the continuously, and stiff person, the stiff limb syndrome. Peripheral process including the tetani due to the Clostridium tetani bacteria and the myotonia, the tone of the muscle will increase. Neuromyotonia, the nervous system involved will lead to myotonia. Focal muscle stiffness or myalgia, myasthenia gravis is also involved. This is the autoimmune disorder. Let's understand with the muscle cramp with type. So it can be two type. We can classify the hyperexcitable neurogenic involve the nervous system, neuromuscular junction, the motor neuron or sensory neurons. While the involuntary muscle contraction is the myogenic, and in this way the muscle only involved, not nervous system is involving. Anyhow, let's begin to understand the mechanism of muscle contraction. So the reflex arc is important to understand. This is the central nervous system contains spinal cord, and this is the gray matter and white matter. And in this way, the gray matter is containing the interneurons. It is basically, let's begin to understand first simple and short to understand the reflex arc. So this is the muscle which that is the calves muscle is important for the contraction and relaxation of the feet. So how the cramp can occur? So in this way the sensory neuron will get the signal in the basically the uh, basically it sends the and move toward the central nervous system, and interneuron will integration. So integration persistent inward current will lead to further firing more than one time, will lead to muscle contraction more. On the other hand, the epiphatic transmission means more excitation to contract. So the other neuron is also involving rather than single neurons. So in this way it is involved. But the persistent inward current, again and again current will be due to the firing of the interneurons involving will lead to current fire to the motor neurons. Let's begin to understand the neuromuscular junction. What is this? Neuromuscular junction means the synaptic cleft are present between the nervous system and the muscle fiber. The nervous system is a motor neuron is involving, remember. This is the neuromuscular junction between the muscle fiber. This is the stimulating the activation of the sensory afferent. This is the motor neurons, which that get the signal from the brain or spinal cord toward the muscle for muscle contraction. This is the neurogenic involvement. Let's begin to understand the neurogenic involvement. This is basically we are understanding. So the afferent input from muscle spindles. Mechanoreceptors lead to sustained frequent contraction. Stimulated activation of the sensory afferent is involving, and in this way the sensory afferent is basically activation of stimulated activation one again and again, not only for only our requirement but the excessive of our requirement. So this is the muscle fiber. Let's begin to understand the closer look of the neuromuscular junction. This is the another problem is the non-physiological bidirectional motor axonal transmission. So in this way, the vesicle will not vesicle move back rather than the move forward due to some problem like calcium deficiency, potassium deficiency, or another process. Myasthenia gravis is the autoimmune disorder. In this way, the autoantibodies will produce, which that is against the acetylcholine receptor, will bind with the acetylcholine receptor, will not allow to bind the neurotransmitter acetylcholine with the acetylcholine receptor. In this way, the contraction of muscle is impossible. And that is why if the muscle will contract, the relaxation is impossible. So that is why that is the mechanical disruption will occur, will lead to cause the muscle cramp. Let's begin to understand the causes of the neurogenic involvement. Injury to peripheral neuron, the components, increasing the motor neuron cell bodies or the motor axon can result in e-fatigue transmission and cramp development. I am just including the motor neuron cell bodies or motor axon can result in e-fatigue transmission and cramp development. Dysfunction of intramuscular small fiber, the sensory afferent. The sensory afferent is involving will lead to dysfunction and lead to cause cramp and epiphatic transmission due to overload. For example, when we are loading more weight in the gym. Causes of myogenic cramps, let's begin to understand. Disrupted energy production in muscle cells and occur most commonly in metabolic myopathies. Like in the gym, if we are not using too much potassium or other nutrients rich containing water or other dehydrated water, in this way it can be caused. On the other hand, the disorder of glycogen, lipid, and mitochondria disorder will not produce too much ATP, will lead to cause muscle cramp due to the relaxation required ATP. ATP decrease to myopathies because it requires to relax through ATP. Contractures electrically silent cramp due to the contraction and the ATP is not producing too much. On the other hand, the anaerobic respiration also involving the muscle cramp. Example, the muscular dystrophy, congenital and the inflammatory problem will lead to cause cramp. And the hypoxia also, remember, the low level of oxygen and anaerobiosis. Common causes we will understand the first physiological, then metabolic, medication then, and the neuromuscular disorder then. Number one is the physiological. The dehydration. Basically, we require the hydration during the exercise. So the dehydration and our exercise without hydration induced iodopathy, nocturnal leg cramp, or elderly pregnancy. Metabolic mean the anabolic and catabolic process is imbalance and cirrhosis. In this way, the glycogen depletion in the liver, hypothyroidism. In this way, the metabolism decrease, malnutrition like vitamin B and magnesium and calcium deficiency. Medication mean the beta agonist or diuretic and statins use. And the neuromuscular disorder require the acquired neuropathy, involve the myasthenia gravis. Treatment of muscle cramp is medication like quinine sulfate, maxilitine. This is the prescription treatment. Diltiazem, levetiracetam, and the carbimazepine and phenytoin. This is the medication. Let's begin to understand the general principle, and this was the prescription treatment, but the general principle and non-prescription treatment is involving the vitamin B complex supplementation and magnesium, calcium, and vitamin D. Homeopathic medications also involve, and the cannabis is endocannabinoids or agonist. So the deficiency of the calcium and other magnesium as well as the vitamin B is involving to cause also muscle cramp. On the other hand, the anaerobic respiration as well as other. This is the cause of myogenic or neurogenic. So thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and share if you like this video. And thanks for watching. Bye.